All right, good evening, Nigeria. Welcome to the Issues on Voice of the People TV, where we bring you the most critical and explosive topics shaping the nation. I am your host, Jerry Apeliohai, and tonight we'll be unpacking two red-hot developments in Nigerian politics that you can't afford to miss. First up, the Labour Party crisis, as the Abure-led faction suspends Governor Alex Otti, Senators Ireti Kingibe and Darlington Wokocha. What does this mean for the future of the party and the 2027 elections? Will this move tear the party apart? Next, we're diving into the high-profile trial of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB. The court is hearing explosive evidence and the prosecution is cranking up the pressure. What's at stake for the country and the separatist movement? Can justice prevail in this landmark case? And finally, former President Goodluck Jonathan sounds the alarm on the dangers of a one-party state. Will Nigeria's democracy survive if political machinations threaten to overtake the will of the people? Stay tuned as we break it all down with our expert panel. And this is a conversation you won't want to miss. All right, welcome back. You're still watching the Issues on Voice of the People TV. Let's dive straight into today's discussion. We start off with the Julius Abure-led faction of the Labour Party has suspended Governor Alex Otti of Abure State, Senator Ireti Kingibe, and Senator Darlington Wokocha, among others, over allegations of anti-party activities. The suspensions were announced after the party's National Executive Committee ratified the recommendations of a disciplinary committee. The party's National Secretary, Alhaji Umar Farouk Ibrahim, stated that the suspended members would no longer act on behalf of the party and urged institutions to take note. Notably, Nnamdi Usman was not included in the suspension list, with the party claiming she is not a registered member, but rather a member of the Obedient Support Group. The Labour Party reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining independence and dismissed speculation about potential mergers or coalitions ahead of the 2027 general elections. The factional party, however, said they will contest the elections as a standalone entity amid internal strife and factional disputes that have escalated with the suspension of prominent members. And today I'm delighted to be joined by an esteemed guest here in the studio. We have Mr. Peter Anosike. Mr. Anosike is a philosopher, development economist, and best-selling author. He is also an erudite commentator on economy, finance, politics, and power. Great to have you join us on the Issues.
Thank you for having me.
All right, what do you make of the issues within the faction of the Abure-led Labour Party, suspending the governor of Abure State, talking about Governor Otti, and even suspending senators for that matter? And they said that Nnamdi is not even a member of the Labour Party.
Well, this shows you that Abure is an agent of APC. This simply shows you that Abure is an agent of APC. He's trying to destroy Labour Party so that it will be easy for Tinubu in 2027. It's just like Real Madrid suspending Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham. That's the three most trusted strikers in their team, which means they want the team to fail. Because governors fund political parties. Understand me? So he just picked the three people who are the main financial contributors of the party and suspended them. Now, how does he want Labour Party to succeed? This simply shows you that he is an agent of APC in Labour Party. And as an Edo man, do you know what Abure means?
No.
A deceitful person. Go and ask anybody. Abure means a very deceptive person. So he is acting his name. God already knows who he is, who he will be, and give him that name, Abure. A very deceptive person. And he is acting according to his name. So he is an enemy of this country, he is an enemy of the Nigerian masses, and he is working for the oppressors. That's what he is doing. And for the party to survive, I don't see Labour Party surviving. And the obedience, I said that they are ready to follow P2B to any political party. And the obedience are the soul of Labour Party. So once they are out, Labour Party will return to where they were before 2022.
Can we now say that Abure is fighting a lost cause? And of course, trying to throw caution to the wind, knowing that when a man is falling, he's trying to drag a lot of people along with him.
No, he is doing what his spare masters want him to do, to keep on creating factions in the party, to keep on creating disharmony in the party. That's what he's being paid to do, and that's what he is doing. Imagine suspending your only governor. While other parties are praying that you have governors, the one that you have, you are suspending. That means you don't have the success of the party at heart. So he is an agent of APC in Labour Party. And he is doing what Ganduje and others want him to do. The same thing that Wike is doing in PDP.
Wow.
So these are the enemies of the people.
The faction also made mention of the fact that they will be running as a standalone a party in the 2027 presidential elections. And some have even asked, because it's not only Otti alone that should be accused of anti-party activities. At least P2B was part of the faction that had a meeting in Abuja where Kingibe was made, what would I call, head of the ad hoc committee to oversee the affairs of the other faction of the Labour Party. What has stopped him from suspending Peter Obi?
He's playing a game. He's playing a game. The idea is to give an impression that they have nothing against P2B, that they are with P2B, so that P2B will not be looking elsewhere. But P2B P2B's thoughts and are far higher than their own. So the idea is to stop P2B from going into a different political platform. But P2B ways and thoughts are far higher than that of Abure and his agents.
Taking a look at how come does it look like Abure is now bigger than all other heads in that party, still holding sway and trying to get relevance from where definitely it's not? Why? How come that Abure is still relevant?
Because he is being funded. He is being funded by APC. That's the only reason. That's the only. Before 2022, Labour Party don't even have a councillor. Before 2022, they don't even have a councillor, let alone State House of Assembly. But when the Obedience joined, they now have governor, senators, House of Reps members, understand me, State House of Assembly members. So P2B breathed life into Labour Party and it became a living being. So once P2B goes out, that air he breathed into it will go and Labour Party will return to where it was before 2022. Because all of them there are shoe shiners.
Hey, what are the implications for the Obedient movement and its influence on the party's future, especially with claims that some prominent figures are not even registered members?
You don't need to be a registered member to vote for a candidate. Most of the people that voted for P2B in 2023 are not members of Labour Party. Labour Party don't have up to 500, that's up to 100,000 members in the whole country before 2023. So it is the Obi factor that made Labour Party what it is. And that Obi factor, which the Oni of Ife called the tsunami, is still there. So, and the obedience and suffering Nigerians have indicated that they will follow Peter Obi to anywhere. Because as we speak, Peter Obi remains the only credible candidate in this country. Peter Obi remains the only credible candidate in this country. So, what Peter Obi did in Labour Party, he can still do it in other political parties.
All right. Of course, what does this mean for Peter Obi, for instance, in terms of making decisions, since the faction of Abure said that they're not interested in coalition, and you've just made the reference that is working in the interest of the APC. Is it now left for Peter Obi to now look for a coalition as quickly as possible and dump the idea of the Labour Party?
Labour Party has become a bad product. So it will be wrong for any progressive Nigerian to do anything with the Labour Party. So Peter Obi is now going to run on that Labour Party in 2027, assuming he wants to run. Because Peter Obi is not desperate to be Nigeria president. He is comfortable. He is contented. He's just struggling for the poor masses of this country. He's not struggling for himself. Understand me? This is somebody in 2005, when Supreme Court declared him the winner of Anambra State governorship election. Kingibe has ruled there for almost 3 years. Peter Obi said, let me go and complete the tenure of Kingibe. Understand? He said, let me go and just complete the 1 year. Let it become 4 years. This shows you who Peter Obi is. He's not desperate for power. He's just struggling because of the suffering masses of this country. So he has not told anybody that he's going to run, and if he wants to run, he can run in any other political party other than Labour Party. So as I said now, Labour Party has been infested by a lot of virus.
So what is stopping Peter Obi from forming his own political party?
INEC may not register it, because INEC has become a branch of APC.
Why do you think so? Because if he has the legal backing and all the wherewithal and what the constitution recognized to form a party, the obedient movement is high time they form a political party and work on their own terms.
can easily register a new party, because what requires to register a new party just that to have presence and office in the 24 states of the country. That is the requirement to register a political party. Obedience are everywhere in the country. Okay. But INEC will not register it because APC will not want them to register it. You cannot register something that will become a problem to you tomorrow. So the easiest thing is to join a political party and use it as a vehicle. So there's no need registering any political party. There are more than 70 registered parties in the country.
70 parties that are not relevant?
Labour Party was not relevant before 2022.
Okay.
As they don't have councillor, let alone House of Assembly. So it is the obedience that made the Labour Party what it is.
But coming from the lesson of the Labour Party and how it eventually turned out, would it not be wise?
Because the APC are funding people to destabilize it. Abure, Arabambi, Apata, and other unseen forces.
But to safeguard the ideology and the movement's focus, would it not be safe and better to have a political party where all the interests of that obedient movement will be taken hook, line, and sinker?
All people needs is tell Nigerians, I'm in AA, I'm in AB. Nigerians will follow.
Is he not going to meet the kinds of Abure there when he goes to the other party, who will be also influenced tomorrow when they become the winning party?
Politics is not what you go with a Bible in your hand. Understand me? APC is going to have a problem very soon. So they think that everything is going well for them. There are millions of people in APC who are not happy. So in the fullness of time, there will be a very big implosion in APC. So what is happening in PDP now, what is happening in Labour Party will still happen in APC.
All right, to add to that, in a related development, former President Goodluck Jonathan has warned that creating a one-party state in Nigeria would be detrimental to the country. He emphasized that any nation adopting such a system must do so carefully with a well-planned process and projected outcome. Jonathan made this statement while paying tribute to late elder statesman Edwin Clark at a memorial lecture in Abuja. Jonathan cautioned against attempts to bring about a one-party state through political machinations that prioritize personal aspirations over national interest. He urged the Clark family to establish a yearly memorial lecture, to promote his ideals of a united, equitable, and prosperous Nigeria. And of course, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi lamented Nigeria's current state, citing endemic poverty, insecurity, and rising living costs. He stressed that the sacrifices of heroes like Pa Edwin Clark were in vain today, while former head of state General Yakubu Gowon emphasized putting national interest above personal interests to ensure Nigerians' unity and progress. Okay, you just made mention of the fact that APC not allowing an obedient party to be formed. If that's the case, can we now share in the view of Goodluck Jonathan, who wants that against a one-party state? Do you see current political development as steering Nigeria in that dangerous direction? And if so, who stands to benefit?
Well, I keep on saying we thank God that age is not on Tinubu's side. I thank God that health is not on Tinubu's side. Because if Tinubu has these two things, he will become another Paul Biya in this country. Understand? Paul Biya is now 93 years, running for another election, and he has already ruled there 40 years. Tinubu would have wanted to do that same thing, assuming age is on his side, because he's more than power conscious. Imagine, since 1999 to today, Tinubu is still the emperor of Lagos State. He will want to extend the same thing to the whole country. Understand? So, but I thank God that age and health is not on his side. So, but I also have some misgivings with what Jonathan said. Jonathan said any country that wants to adopt one-party system should do so carefully. Where you have one-party system is no more democracy. Democracy is, the beauty of democracy is choice. And for there to be choice, there must be more than one. Understand me? When a country has just one party, the choice is gone. So whether you vote or you do not vote, that one party will win. So that's not democracy. So I don't think that Jonathan thought through that statement before making it. The beauty of democracy is choice. Choice and periodic elections. Understand me? So anywhere in the world that we have a one-party system, it is not a democracy. But democracy died in Nigeria on March 18th, the day that Tinubu unconstitutionally declared state of emergency in Rivers State. From that day to today, and even to 2027, we are no more practicing democracy. What we are practicing is autocracy, a government of one man. A government of one man. So, but Nigerians are cowards because APC is a bad product. Why must you be rushing to go and patronize a bad product? It's fear. It is fear. Any right-thinking Nigerian, any well-meaning Nigerian should have nothing to do with APC. But because they are cowards, that's why you see governors of other parties rushing into a bad vehicle. A vehicle that has stopped Nigeria in the middle of nowhere. Understand me?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't see any reason why any sensible person would go and patronize APC. That's why when I heard there's a PBAT door-to-door campaign, understand? I warned, let none of them come and knock at my door because I'll break that person's head. I warned, let none of them come and knock at my... What are you going to tell me? What are you going to tell me? That the condition of my life is better now than 3 years ago. Is that what you are going to tell me? Or that I should have hope that things will get better in 2031? So for me, most Nigerian, poverty turns people's senses.
At least we're supposed to have a situation if the hungry man is an angry man. But what's happening?
No, Nigerian hungry men are not angry. Nigerian hungry men are not angry.
So
because if Nigerian hungry men are angry, 130 million people in multidimensional poverty, National Assembly will not sit. Nobody will be in Aso Rock. Imagine what happened in South Korea when the president declared martial law. People were marching to the State House before their parliament. The members of their parliament even jumped through the windows to go and repeal it. Understand me? That's what we call democratic people's rebellion. When people with one voice say, no, we don't want this, but Nigerian hungry men are not angry. That's why I believe that Nigerians come from a different DNA.
Peter Obi called out poverty and insecurity. What does the growing chorus from past and present leaders say about the government's ability or willingness to address systemic national issues?
Well, if you become hungry for 1 month, the next day somebody gives you 5,000 naira, you will celebrate that person as Jesus. So that's what APC is working towards, to impoverish Nigerians more and more, so that in 2027, anybody that sees 1,000 naira will have to praise the person that gave him that. Understand? So before 2023 election, I told Nigerians, vote wrongly and get ready to suffer. And they voted, or INEC made them vote wrongly. And that's what is happening as we speak.
All right. Some have said that even if Jonathan somehow wanted to say that if there's a well-planned, calling for a more deliberate and well-planned political process, is this not calling for a dangerous precedent or encouraging the ruling party that, okay, it's still possible, but if you're doing it, you have to be careful? Is it not a process in danger of being overshadowed by elite political struggles and short-term power grabs?
That's why I said I don't think that Jonathan thought through that statement before making it. Understand? Because you don't condone evil, you eliminate evil. You don't condone evil, you eliminate evil.
Is that not been the style of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, talking about trying to take things with more like a diplomatic way of taking care of issues?
For me, diplomacy works sometimes, but it's not in all times. Okay. And it is that diplomacy that brought this APC. Because Jonathan saw Atahiru Jega working against his interest, and he allowed him. Jonathan heard Buhari say that monkeys and baboons will be soaked in this thing. Instead of arresting him, he allowed him. Understand me? Now, Jonathan has every right to stop the registration of APC in 2014, but he allowed it. Now, from a convention now, Tinubu will not allow any new party to be registered. So Jonathan saw armies working against him and he folded his hand. Secretary said that it is only a fool that sees a danger that he could avoid and work towards it. That's what Secretary said. That it's only a fool that will see a danger that will harm him and he begin to work towards it. So, so Jonathan saw gang ups against him. And instead of eliminating them, he condoned them. And that's why he was pushed out.
All right. The figures like Gowon and Jonathan continue to stress national unity. How effective are these calls at this time where our politicians are not even interested in the unity of this country? They're just interested in remaining in power at all costs.
I'm sorry to say this. Yakubu Gowon is a coward. This is somebody who his people are being killed on a daily basis. He's saying, let's pray for Nigeria. Let's pray for the country. Yakubu Gowon has never any day condemned the killing in Plateau State, where he comes from. He had never go from now to tomorrow. You never see any day Yakubu Gowon condemning the killing in Plateau State, where he comes from. And he knows the people behind this. So for me, I cannot call such people as statesmen when you are not condemning what you are supposed to condemn. That's why I will always hear Ayo Adebanjo. God will continue to bless his soul anywhere he is.
What realistic steps can be taken to prevent Nigeria from sliding into a one-party state?
Democratic rebellion of the people. Democratic rebellion of the people is the only way. Nigerians coming out to say enough is enough. That is the only way. Resign to fate and you'll be crippled fast. Understand me? Resign to fate and you'll be crippled fast. So Nigerians need to come out and say enough is enough. First of all, by rejecting this bad product called the APC.
Can they do that? Because now it looks like even the umpire, can he be trusted to make sure that the voice of the people is heard when the elections are coming into play? Because Nigerians have even lost their faith.
That's why I'm calling on coalition. Understand me? What coalition does that? It makes an election too big to rig. It makes election too big to rig. If political parties go 2027 individually, PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, SDP, AAC, Tinubu will still win. But once a coalition comes, they say a people united can never be defeated. A people united can never be. It is only a unity of the suffering masses of this country that can throw APC out of power.
Okay, and now taking a look at all of these so-called national leaders who have governed this country at one capacity or the other, and the fact that most of the time they continue to call for unity.
Most of them are accidental national leaders. Most of them are accidental national leaders. Go on. It was a coup. The death of Aguiyi that brought him in. There was no intentional on his part to become the head of state of this country. Even when that coup happened, he wanted to run away. Understand me? So, what's his name? Jonathan. It was the death of Yaradua that made him a president. So that's what, all of them are accidental.
Okay, you also say that for Obasanjo as well?
Obasanjo? In 1998, I'm talking history. In 1998, when Tinubu went to to prison. When Babangida went to prison and tell Obasanjo, come and run. Obasanjo asked Tinubu, how many presidents do you want to make out of me? Understand me? I have been a head of state before. Understand me? That was the question that Obasanjo asked. How many head of... And the reason why Babangida had to go to Obasanjo was because an ex-Ekwueme would have picked the PDP ticket. Understand me? Because Ekwueme and the 34 others formed the G4, the G34. 17 people from the south, 17 people from the north. It was the G34 that later became PDP. Understand? And the Ekwueme was the highest political office holder in G34, being a former vice president under Shehu Shagari. So Ekwueme would have picked the PDP ticket in 1999, and the PDP would have won. But Babangida was afraid that Ekwueme may move against him because of what he did in 1983, toppling that government that Ekwueme was vice president. That was why he had to go there to prison to tell Obasanjo come out and contest, because he did not want Ekwueme as a president out of his own selfish interest.
Did you say that even the election of President Obasanjo was to at least in the interest to satisfy the interest of General Ibrahim Babangida?
Babangida don't want an ex-Ekwueme as a president because he felt that Ekwueme may move against him when Ekwueme becomes president.
So that means it was all in the interest of General Babangida?
It was his own interest, not in the interest of the country.
Not in the interest of the country, and eventually so that means Obasanjo was just there for the 8 years to serve the interest of so-called General Ibrahim Babangida.
Mind you, the Southwest did not vote for Obasanjo in 1999. I think you know that. That's why all the Southwest governors were under AD. Understand me? So it was in the interest of Obasanjo ran to satisfy Babangida's fears.
Quite an interesting story. Quite a interesting history there. Talking about coming from Mr. Nnamdi, and of course that's why he's a powerful philosopher and of course a best-selling author. Okay, let's talk about the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, continued at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The prosecution presented key evidence, including a petition allegedly authored by former Attorney General Abubakar Malami, accusing Kanu of terrorism and incitement to violence. The court admitted several exhibits, including a flash drive containing Kanu's broadcast, a written statement by Kanu, and the federal government gazette proscribing IPOB as a terrorist organization. The prosecution played several video and audio clips which allegedly showed Kanu inciting violence and instructing followers to attack security agencies. The court adjourned the trial until May 8, 2025 for continuation of hearing, and the prosecution counsel requested the adjournment to continue presenting evidence, while the defense team objected to some of the exhibits but reserved their reasons for later. Mr. Nnamdi, how solid is the prosecution's case, given that some of the evidence, like video broadcasts and petitions, may be open to interpretation or viewed as political expression rather than incitement?
Jerry, excuse me. Didn't you watch some of those videos when it were released by Nnamdi Kanu?
I think I came across some of the videos.
Okay.
I must say, they were very worrisome.
Were you incited?
At least those who were...
No, were you incited?
I don't need to be cited if I'm not part of the movement.
Okay, I'm an Igbo man.
Yes.
I watched those videos.
Okay.
I watched those releases. And I did not go to carry gun to go and begin shoot anybody.
Are you a member of IPOB?
I'm an Igbo man.
But
Understand
okay,
me?
it was an instruction given to members of IPOB.
I am an Igbo man.
And everybody
so anybody that is claiming that what Nnamdi Kanu said made him to go and start carrying gun and shooting people should go to court and say so.
But that also
the DSS man will go and bring people, let them come and say it is what Nnamdi Kanu said in his video that made him to go and carry gun and begin to shoot people.
This analogy.
You talk about explosive evidence. There's nothing explosive.
See, Mr. Nosuke, this analogy is quite different because, for instance, we had the Niger Delta movement who was asking for self-control and resource control. I beg your pardon. That was the word. And we had a lot of them making inciting comments that they were going to bomb pipelines and so on. Does that mean that me as a Niger Delta man, a South man, for instance, would be incited and to carry weapons? But they also have members who were doing that, who were making sure that the movement was having a face. And the government is saying that people were incited who call themselves so-called IPOB by those videos and so on and so forth.
They should go and bring those people who were incited. Let us see what they do from that incitement.
We all know how the troubles were on in the Southeast during all of this time.
I don't know. They will go and bring those people who were incited and let them tell Nigerians what Kanu's incitement made them to do.
Are we saying that the broadcasts were okay?
What Nnamdi Kanu said that any Fulani man that is going to the Southeast must turn back and go. Understand me? And any leader in the Southeast that betrayed his people, there must be consequences.
But he made a lot of inciting comments to incite people to kill and even do a lot of wrong things.
Those people that Kanu was incited should go to court and say Kanu's word made me to go and commit murder. Then let them
if you are an IPOB member,
they have no evidence at all.
If you are an IPOB member and you were incited by Kanu to, for instance, commit any of those crimes, would you be so free to go to the court and testify and say that you were incited? Because it's like reporting yourself to the law.
Sure, if you say that you were incited,
is that possible?
You should go to court and tell them that.
Is that possible? Would you make yourself available for arrest by the DSS?
All those documents cannot survive scrutiny.
That means you're asking the likes of Imam Powerful to also surrender too.
All those documents cannot survive cross-examination. They have nothing. There's nothing like explosive evidence.
Let's wait for the court to decide on that.
All those arguments are pedestal. They should go and bring people who will say that what Nnamdi Kanu said made them to carry gun and go and kill people. Let us know how they get that gun. It will be a useful information to this country. So that we can know how people are getting gun.
I think the prosecuting counsel will have the responsibility of building their case.
And there will be cross-examination at the end of the day.
Okay,
all those things will fall.
Talking about that, will the federal government gazette used as evidence to label IPOB a terrorist group? To what extent does this create a bias in court proceedings before any criminal guilt is established?
The Gazette was created by Igbo haters. Mandami is an Igbo hater. Muhammadu Buhari is an Igbo hater. So this is Igbo haters. Understand me? ISWAP is known everywhere in the world as a terrorist organization. Boko Haram is known everywhere in the world as a terrorist organization, isn't it?
Nigeria has also recognized them as a terrorist organization.
Then why is it only in Nigeria that IPOB is recognized?
Boko Haram is also a terrorist organization according to the Nigerian constitution.
I know.
Okay.
America has designated a terrorist organization, isn't it?
Yes.
Britain has done that.
Yes.
Other parts of the world have done that.
Yes.
Why is it only in Nigeria that IPOB is recognized?
It's on the onus of the government to say that this is
Igbo haters. That is Igbo haters. But Nnamdi Kanu will survive more than these people that have kept them in prison. What is giving me hope is Nelson Mandela.
Are you saying that?
What is giving me hope?
Are you saying the struggle of Nnamdi Kanu replicates or
he's a freedom fighter.
Freedom fighter
he's a prisoner of
expense?
conscience.
At what expense?
Eh?
At whose expense?
Because his people are not being treated well.
All right. Okay, taking a look at this. What are the legal and human rights implications of admitting evidence such as flash drives and recorded broadcasts without immediate transparency on how they were obtained or verified?
There will be cross-examination. There will be scrutiny. There will be cross-examination. So government can come up with all the evidences. There will be cross-examination.
Definitely, that's what I was trying to portray.
So there will be, and during cross-examination, all those things will fall like pack of cards.
You think?
All those things will fall like pack of cards.
But with all of this evidence building up,
There's no evidence building up.
how does it look for Nnamdi Kanu in terms of
Nnamdi Kanu
being released
Nnamdi Kanu
unconditionally?
No, I don't want Nnamdi Kanu to be released unconditionally.
What do you want him to be doing?
Discharged and acquitted, nothing found against him. Understand me? Releasing unconditionally will say that Tinubu will say, I release Nnamdi Kanu. We don't want that. I want court to discharge and acquit him.
But the way the case is going, do you think he's going to be discharged and acquitted? Because evidence are beginning to pile
There
up.
are no evidences.
You think?
Go and read the book, The Art of Cross-Examination.
Okay, I think that's a nice sign.
Go and read the book, The Act of Cross-Examination. You know that all those things are just understand.
Anyway, that's why Nnamdi Kanu employed numbers of SANs to be on his defense counsel.
I've not seen any strong evidence against him up till now.
No, we'll now wait for the DSS to give Mr. Osikia and...
I've not seen any strong evidence against him up till now.
Okay, how might the outcome of this trial shape Nigerians' broader approach to handling separatist movements through dialogue, repression, or judicial prosecution?
Self-determination, which Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for, is in the Constitution of Nigeria.
Okay.
Understand me? Self-determination is in the Constitution of Nigeria. It's in the United Nations Charter of 1948.
Is it in the way that Nnamdi Kanu is doing it? That is the question. Because now, definitely the right...
How is Nnamdi Kanu doing it?
Talking about the inciting broadcast, for instance.
Didn't you see that video? Did it incite you?
I'm not a member of IPOB.
I saw that
cannot
video.
Be incited
I saw that
by
video.
Such videos.
I saw that video, and I did not carry gun to go and start
That's
killing
why
people.
I asked if you're a member of IPOB, and you said no, you are an Igbo man.
I said I had not been a member of IPOB.
Okay, are you?
I said I am an Igbo man. I'm in support of self-determination because Nigeria is not working.
Does that make you a member of IPOB?
I'm an Igbo man. I'm a Biafran. I'm in support of self-determination because Nigeria is not working. If Nigeria is working, Nnamdi Kanu will not be calling for self-determination.
Okay, what about other separatist movements that will eventually come up later?
If Nigeria begins to work today, all the separatist groups, all the self-determination will die down.
Okay, that means they may not be IPOB anymore.
So it is bad governance that is causing this agitation for self-determination.
All right, Mr. Nosiki, we're pressed for time. Would have loved to go on and on and on. I must have enjoyed the conversation. We hope to have you tomorrow once again on the issues.
God willing.
God willing. And of course, that's a wrap for tonight's episode of the Issues on Voice of the People TV. We've taken you through the hottest topics in Nigerian politics, and the conversation is far from over. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on the latest update from the political front line. Join the conversation on social media and let us know your thoughts on today's discussions. Follow us on all platforms and keep the debate going. I am Jerry Apeloi, and we'll see you next time as we continue to bring you the issues that matter most. Until then, stay engaged, stay informed, and remember, the voice of the people is the voice of the nation.